afternoon, everyone. Basta something. Uh, um, uh, Christmas best today, for today, and this year, let's welcome Pavel. Uh,
Hi, Raquel.
uh,
How are you?
um, very good.
It's a little bit harder to hear you. Let me see if I can fix it with earbuds. Just give me 1 minute. It's a little bit hard to hear you there.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me see if I can fix it with a different headset. There we go. Yeah, this should be better. Can we try again? Hi.
Uh, good
Perfect. This is much better. Good.
afternoon and good morning. So, we are going to start now.
Let's do it.
Uh,
Cool. So first of all, happy birthday. Um, um, happy to be here and spend some time today. So I need to introduce myself and what I'm doing. Okay. So my name is Pavel. I am currently based in Czech Republic. I lived last 7 or 8 years in Southeast Asia between Singapore and Indonesia. I've originally came there with work with a company I was working for called Social Bakers, who is doing great work around social media and marketing analytics. And I was sort of the first person to develop the market, and I liked it so much that I stayed, and I've kind of moved on from there to build my own company couple of years later in Singapore with my colleague. I've now been I think for last 10 months based back home in Czech. I'm currently dialing in from Prague, which is covered in snow this morning, and it's a middle of the winter, really cold. So I haven't had a proper winter in I think over 8 years fully. So it's challenging to be in this climate. Yeah, and I've been here since the sort of pandemic started, and wasn't sure if it's smart for me as a foreigner to stay in Indonesia. Nobody knew what this is going to be like and how it's going to turn out. So it was safer to kind of, while travel was possible, it was safer to scale back home. And now I'm based here. Yeah, and this is I'm working on the time zone difference, talking to all my colleagues. Obviously, big part of the team, main part of the team is still in Singapore in terms of the business, and I need to work with them on a daily basis as well. So yeah, it's early mornings usually for me. How I met Jana. Jana is my colleague and co-founder in the company we have started together, and also we have co-founded together or started She Loves Data, which is our non-profit kind of voluntary movement, which is all powered by amazing volunteers like Raquel, who you work super hard on that, and we totally appreciate everyone's energy in there because it's all driven by that. She Loves Data has no employees, and it's something that we started as really like an experiment because we saw with our previous company we organized a hackathon around data solutions in Singapore, and it was more than 95% of the people who signed up were guys, and we saw that like this is really, we see trends in Europe where there are a lot of diversity initiatives and empowering women to explore technology, coding, programming, hardware, science, STEM generally, data as well. So we kind of try to get inspired by one of the local initiatives here in Europe, and we've organized a very similar workshop and offered it. It was something like an introduction to data, and we've taken that and threw one in Singapore without really knowing, how to do it properly. One of our team members, our analysts in our commercial company was teaching it, and it was so successful that we had, I think, over 350 registrations in a couple of days on just a Facebook event in Singapore, which is super successful. So people really were hungry for content like this. So we've since then developed that, formalized it a little bit. We have taken it to multiple countries. So it was first started and scaled with our business travel, because we still work with partners in Australia, and when they saw what we are doing in Singapore, they asked us to bring it there. Companies like Yellowfin, Mero, and then we kind of got more and more partner involved, and got lots of help from companies like Sportsbet in Australia, which was fantastic. And we kind of grew the organization from there. But so Jana and I, we obviously do a lot together in the last 6 years. I think we've met early on after I started coming to Singapore. She was already living there, even though she's Czech as well. She's already living there. Her husband is French. And she come on board as a consultant for the company I was working for previously, and so we worked together side by side for about a year, and then we figured out it's time to move on for both of us. I've been there, for 4 years at the time, and I was ready for the next challenge, and we started talking, and we decided we work together so closely that, and the working dynamic was always really good. We had done interesting projects, and we realized that we want to continue that. So we found a way of how to build a consulting business, selling some technology of a third party as a reseller, and that was a really interesting start. So literally starting a company from nothing, just the two of us, no clients, no pedigree, just a little bit of a network we are bringing on. So that was interesting, and we've been working together ever since. And usually I was the one who travels a lot, so I moved to Indonesia, to Bali, for a couple of years, and then I always come by Singapore and other places where we have clients. And uh, so we're kind of used to seeing each other face to face with Jana, and kind of a couple times every month usually. And now it's been nearly a year where we haven't met in person, so it makes the working dynamic a lot more challenging. But I think we within the limits we manage quite well. So I think that's still it still works amazingly well. And I couldn't ask for a better partner, and I think this is not the last thing we are doing together. So yeah, it's one of the most important things. If you are going to start business with someone, I don't recommend doing it on people like on their own. I think it's the most critical decision you are going to make is the people you are going to partner with. You are really prepared. Okay, cool. So I was a salesperson. Well, I think in my background I was, I guess, not a lot more than a salesperson. It's amazing job to work in sales, but I've done many other things. I've actually originally started in hospitality, so I have worked a service job, and when I got out of a middle school, and I didn't go on to university. So I was fortunate to work for a beautiful company with amazing culture. Four Seasons Hotels, one of the most kind of mature luxury hotel players in that industry. So amazing company to work for, great start. And I've worked with them in Prague and in Ireland. I was supposed to move to US as well, which didn't work out. And so I feel like I was many other things. Before I started doing this, I also worked in sales in media, worked in sales in e-commerce. So lot more interesting kind of a background. I for a long time I worked in hospitality, selling accommodation to in a business to business setting. So more an interesting lots of mixed background. Like a lot of people are come out of university and they then get the first internship in line with what they do, what they studied, and they are very single profile. So I'm a lot more of a generalist, in a sense. But with the sales and marketing, look, it's not that if you want to maybe flip the question. Yeah, okay. So the the marketing bit, I think your Adobe might have frozen. It's okay. So the marketing question, I don't really think I am so much of a marketer, as this is just something I right now in my role in my company have to do. We are small business, 30 people only. So it's common that founders in this setting wear multiple hats. So do I. So I do what I need to do. I will do sales when I need to do sales. I'll look after marketing when I need to. And when we have ability to hire someone who is more experienced and hopefully much better than me in this role, I'll be very happy to make room for this person, and I can move on to other things that are at any given time important. So I think as a startup founder, you really need to cover multiple roles. That's the definition of the role. You are a lot more generalist than you are a specialist. So but ultimately, marketing is and sales are two parts of the same thing. It's an effort to grow the business. To grow the business, you need to sell, and to sell, you need to talk to people. So that communication part, that introduction part, that brand awareness part is marketing. And somewhere around the conversion point, that flips to sales, whether that sales is being done in person or that sales is being done through digital channels, where obviously then it's even more blurry with marketing. So altogether, I think they are part of one. I think the best companies have those units very closely aligned and not even divided, because I've seen in past that it's always, sales is always blaming marketing that they are not getting enough leads. Marketing is complaining that sales is stupid, that they can't convert the great beautiful leads that they are getting them. So it's usually like that. So I think they need to be part of one team and having a common goal. But yeah, I don't really think I am especially talented marketer. I learn by doing, which I think is the only way to learn in the space that moves so fast. And honestly, it's just the space develop so quickly, especially on the technical side. Like if you look at what marketer looked like 20 years ago, it would be people who were ordering expensive $1 million shoot for TV commercials and printing out leaflets, and now everything is digital, and the marketers have to have a lot more technological profiles, so very different than what we used to know in marketing. So I think that's a big that's a big difference. So this skill set is constantly evolving, and I think more than other industry, other workspaces, marketers have to reinvent themselves so often. So it's an interesting one, honestly. Yeah. So I really, I do marketing out of necessity. I don't have any specific inclination. Like in our company, I cover product strategy and sort of the business part of the product. So make sure it's aligned with the vision, and I kind of help to not run the development team, but more to form the direction for them. So really more the product strategy. I've got an amazing product manager who's looking after kind of the immediate organization and execution. So we've got a very small, lean, very well organized team. On the marketing side as well, I've got a couple of people internally who are amazing. We've got some externals we work with. So I am definitely it's really more a coordination role, but I do wish we had more space and more room, because obviously there's always more ideas than you can execute, because the resources are very limited typically. So yeah, that's that. And I think from sales to marketing again, it would help a lot of salespeople if they become a good marketer at the same time, because they will understand a lot better about communication. And to marketers, it would help to have a sales experience, because they will understand that it's all about the ultimately it's not about printing beautiful pictures and building state of art websites and shooting beautiful ads. It's about the process and the outcome, most importantly. And the outcome is the conversion, is the sale, right? So you have to sell the customer, you have to convert them, then you have to make sure, if that's part of your business model, that they stay long term. So that you communicate well about your product updates. So again, it's really very, in my mind, very intertwined. So it's a very logical for a salesperson to evolve into marketer, and vice versa. To be honest, it's still part of the market development effort in the business. I hope I'm making sense a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. What's next? Oh, cool. Okay, happy to. I think we should have started with this really.
Yeah.
um, Okay, so Mero is a company I have started with Yana, who I already told you about, and who you know very well at this point. So we started Mero in Singapore. We were looking for an analogy to a complex problem that we see, which is connecting data for businesses. And Mero in Japanese means labyrinth or maze, more specifically.
Oh.
And so we kind of feel that this is a really good analogy because when you look at how complex the world of data is for marketers, for organizations, for anyone, it's easy to get lost in it. So we think that the maze analogy is works very well there. So with Medo, we kind of were it's a project, or it's a company that stemmed from our consulting business. We were already working with a couple of amazing clients in Philippines, as well as Indonesia or Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia. So we have with them we've taken care of. A lot of kind of data integration projects, a lot of reporting, a lot of dashboarding, and so a couple of them at a similar time came to us and asked about building a single view of customer that they are looking at as a marketers, that they are looking at multiple touch points that they are managing, whether it's email, whether it's website, whether it's mobile app, even customer support sometimes, or e-commerce, be it marketplace or direct e-commerce, or retail even, and that they can't really piece together the information about their customers that they have available there. So we've got a couple of projects like this in the beginning, and when we talk to the clients, we realize there is a lot more complexity to that problem than what they are relaying to us in that scope. So it's really like a difficult data engineering problem. So we've decided to kind of deliver to our clients a lot more than they asked for, and we've invested into a team and build a product out of this initiative. So having a couple of clients, and especially in banking, was important because that gave us some credentials, first of all, and second, it gave us kind of a guidelines for a product that have to work with in regulated industry. So especially with finance, where the data management policies are often given by the regulation and by the law, not just the internal security team. So it's a very strict, and if we can comply with that, it means we can probably comply with any other industry in the world. So we've kind of built it contrary to how a lot of the technology is being built today, which is so-called multi-tenant software as a service, where essentially companies' data is sent to the vendors' servers and being managed there. The company doesn't really have a lot of control over it. So we've done it quite the other way around, where we are doing a private installation into the client's environment or even into managed environments. But we work with clients where data security and control is super important for them. So we see a bunch of vendors in our space where, for example, you have to pay for extraction of data, quite a bit of money. And we are like, it's your data. You don't pay for the data extraction.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that we are kind of doing differently than the rest of the industry. It's the flexibility of the hosting of the solution. So data always in country, data always in control of the brand, not us. I think that's important. And we are really focusing on bridging the gap between the IT data people and the business. So usually, if you look at, you are doing a bunch of courses on the certification that She Loves Data does right now with TIPCO AI, right, and the visualization. And when you look at how much expertise you need to build a decent visualization and answer business problems like this, it's not something for business people without training. Yeah. And so business intelligence is really still for a tool for analysts, and business people can maybe consume dashboards, but you can as well send them a screenshot. And so it's not exactly like business people work with these tools directly. So we recognize that, and we wanted to make our in our system access to data a lot more simple than we find in business intelligence tools, because we've worked with a lot of them, I would say most of them in past. We've really looked at like how do we simply convey complex information. We are all about using that single view of customer to proving ROI, proving attribution works for advertising, for marketing. We are about very, very fine segmentation, so we can push it back into activation systems. So clients, who we still see brands who are doing mass emails to their entire base, and 3/4 of people will never open those emails. So I think the segmentation here is absolutely essential. And what makes a big difference is how easily you can access this data. So that's what we would focus on here. So integration between systems, but one that's so simplified that can be accessed and activated by business people without technical skills. So no SQL, no coding, but knowledge of language, of common plain English, and understanding of your business. So I think that's important. And we started Mero in Singapore. We're super proud to be Singapore-based company, even though not Singaporean owned, but Singapore-based company. It's a great place to do business. Obviously, a fantastic country to live in, and we've got a local team. I think we are about 10 locally right now. I lose track. We are adding a couple of people in January and in February now as well. So I think it's going to be a little bit over 10 locally. Some amazing talent, very diverse team, a bunch of different cultures, boys and girls. So it's a very very meshed team together. Then we've got a small team in Indonesia for business development and client support, because some of our key clients are in Indonesia. And then we are looking at a bigger team in Europe, where right now with me here, we are also starting some business development, and we've got some sort of back office functions like finance, and mainly the product team who sits in one office here, and that's also growing a little bit. So it's a combination. We've started Mero with our own money. We've invested our own funds into it. So it's been proudly bootstrapped. We haven't needed an investor. We're at really healthy numbers already. Have amazing growth predicted and planned for this year. So super happy to do it on our own terms, and really glad we didn't have to bring in additional investor into it. So we like to keep a control and direction in our hands. So so far it's been 3.5 years, I think, and it's a slow moving animal for my taste, but it's still by all measures. From the feedback I get, it's moving in the right direction and very fast. So it's I think it's different optics. So yeah, I love the experience, and it's definitely something I'll be focusing on for next few years to come. We have a lot more territory to conquer now.
The next one.
This is a very tough question. I was thinking about it, after the pandemics, I'm definitely going for vacation. I need a beach, and I need a warm ocean. But when is it over? I don't really think it will be over so much as that the numbers are going to be controlled. I think we are going to get vaccinated if we want to travel. So vaccination will be must during this year. Hopefully, it's going to work out. Unfortunately, Czech Republic is one of the countries where this crisis is mismanaged the most. So it's not the numbers compared globally here are terrible. Honestly, our government is not super competent, even though they try, I guess. But it's also an election year for them, so they have a different priorities, I guess. But it's a I don't really foresee that our life is going to change massively during 2021. I think it's going to be very similar to what 2020 was like. I think it can even get more complicated with the new strains of the disease coming up. So it's we are losing lives, elderly people most specifically. I've got so many people in my network who lost a family member already, so it's absolutely it's a tragic, but it's just we have to deal with it. Like there is no other way than through. And for my plans, I don't know. I am currently I plan short term. Like I work at a startup, and things can happen. So opportunities can come up, and I might move into different location. I might stay. Who knows? But I am dedicated to the company I am building. So I'll kind of do what I need to do to make it successful here. So it's not so much what are my plans, but what plans will be there for me. It's different a little bit. I would like to travel. It's been I've spent in 2019. I've been on plane on average every 2 days. And in 2020 I have taken, I think, approximately 7 flights, maybe, or 8 flights or something like that. And so not a lot. And while it's been good to have a change of not traveling so much, being able to more focus on like personal health and fitness and stuff was great. And the work from home I don't mind so much because we've been fairly distributed as a company from the start. So it's changed on personal level. We've got colleagues who have got kids who are homeschooled now. So obviously for them it's a lot more difficult to focus on school. We've got colleagues who are living by themselves, which again is hard for different reasons. So it's a challenging for personally, but as a company, I think we were structured for this type of world already anyway. So I don't think we overall have a problem with this. But yeah, I do miss the opportunity to kind of hop on a plane and go to Bali or Boracay or whatever. It's been part of my life always, and now it's different. And Europe obviously is so small. You used to have these flight tickets for 10 euros to take you to the beach somewhere. So it's that's no longer valid. Like I'm planning a little vacation now in Southern European islands, and the cost of the flight is what I used to pay for cheap flight to Thailand or to Singapore from Prague, so which is 13 hours flight, and this is 5 hours flight. So the cost is different. I think travel is changing as well. And I think it's in terms of that personal space, it's always been one of the bigger challenges on the way we work now is that it's impossible to disconnect from work, or it's not impossible, but it's a lot harder. It's like work is where you live, where you eat, where you do everything else, and like the computer is always there. So how do you you have to have a very strong, I guess, discipline to shut the computer down and move on to your own things, and don't look at work emails and Slack and tasks and stuff. So it's the screen time is a little bit too much, and I think that's challenging for me. I would love to change that if I can, but I just don't see how currently. So for me, it's when the winter is over, it's about trying to spend as much time as I can outside on the fresh air without a device. So I am, with the pandemic, everything being shut down, all the businesses being forced to close temporarily, it's difficult because you can't go to gym, you can't do anything in terms of entertainment. So it's difficult. So I'm looking at, I at least I've committed, and I'm planning to to get a bicycle in a couple of months in the spring, and at least I can do a little bit something for my fitness and move. So no restrictions can impact me riding a bike around my neighborhood here. So I think, well, I hope not. So maybe I'm wrong in that sense, but yeah, that's not big plans really. I think it's not impossible, but it's difficult to plan in this current situation, generally speaking. Yeah. You know, I think, I guess I am. I don't. I know that a lot of people kind of put really out there that they are founder of everything that they have started, and it's like very much of a self promotion. I am personally, I rarely talked about She Loves Dada, and as my achievement, because I really don't think it is. It's something I helped to start for sure, but it's taken off so much and in such a big direction that that it's all about the local chapters. We've got, I think, at this point 14 different chapters. We've got incredible teams in the early chapters in Indonesia, in Australia, big team in Singapore who helps kind of globally the operations. We've since then expanded to US. We've got a fantastic chapter leader in Los Angeles. Recently started London, I think. There's been events in Hong Kong, New Zealand. So it's been fantastic, and this is all powered by the local volunteers. Like, we don't have any full-time staff, no one. So it would be, I would feel ashamed if I was trying to take a credit for that success, because it's I've just put the initial spark with Yana. Yana is putting a lot more work into this. I think she's got almost every Saturday booked out with meetings with the chapter heads, which with how demanding our day jobs at Mero are, Monday to Friday, and obviously a lot of thinking about it around the time as well. Then she's got usually one full day committed to She Loves Dada as well, which I just don't know where she gets the energy to do it, but she does, and it's incredible. So I don't really I don't really want to take a credit for that, but yeah, it's I'm lucky, and I think if anyone is in a position to do some good, they should do it early on in their lives and not necessarily wait until they have the resources and the career taken care of, and then they can focus on the greater good. I think the timing is essential. So and the time is more than the resources and money, and we show that with She Loves Dada. We've never we pay for a bunch of things from our expense accounts from the company, from Mero, and it's essentially sponsored by us. But we also work with great companies who are sponsoring us here and there, sponsoring different events, and it helps to keep the lights on, pay for the technology that we use, and the work we do around like web development and so some of the event promotion. But there's no full-time staff, and it would be much easier if we had. So I think for us, what we do there is that we will be looking for like a fundraising in the next period, so we can really properly formalize it, because it's the volunteers. The volunteers who are active, they work so hard. It's just not really sustainable in the long term, or even if it's sustainable, it's not scalable so much. So I think it's hard, and it's incredible at the same time how far that organization have gone. We've touched lives of a couple of tens of thousands of people. Inspired some to change their careers, and some of the messages I get are very, very touching. So this is something that I am happy to take a little bit of my time away from the company and focusing on the business and put into this, because I think it's important. We don't only live by the commercial success, but I think we all have a responsibility to cultivate the space around us, because we are part of it. So it's interesting, and yeah, it's a amazing organization to be part of. So not more than that, I am proud to be founder of it.
Yeah.
I am proud that I can be part of it in a way, because there's a lot more people who work who put much more energy into it than me right now. This is difficult. If I were to recommend you at a company, because I think, look, I work with you in the Sheila's Data website team, right? You are doing a lot of work on the copywriting
Yeah.
and the SEO now and stuff, and it's almost that I would not recommend you. I recommend you to a company, but I think you would have a place in any company you wanted to. So like, you don't need a recommendation for a company, because you will have your choice always. Like, with the work ethic that you have, it's just incredible. Which company would you work for? What's the dream for you there?
People.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm too old for that. But look, you have. I think you will have a choice of a company, and I would say that I am number one. I am always happy to write that recommendation whenever you need it. So just reach out. You know where to find me. And I think with the it's not about who it is. It's about the output, and the output that you produce, even on a voluntary basis. She loves that is amazing. So I think people will see that very quickly, and if the company values that, like, you will have a great future. If they don't value that, you don't have you shouldn't be there. So I would say that your work ethic is incredibly strong. It's something I don't see so rarely, and the professionalism and the level of output is just incredible. So I think that's all that needs to be said. And for something like She Loves Dada, the passion that you have for the project is also what makes it go really far, and what counts. So I think that's yeah, that's important.
Thank you. Yeah, any questions more?
Bring it on.
Any questions?
So it's your 37th birthday, right? So you are 1 year, a few months older than me. I'll be 37 in June this year. Well, if I were to give you a gift, what would it be? This is a tricky piece, because I can't really easily give you a gift now virtually. But I I think that gifts should not be things, really, unless this is look, if we work, we can buy everything we need ourselves.
Yeah.
The older we get, unless we are very materialistically oriented, we realize that we don't really need that much. I've always felt like I want to get super rich, because that means that I'll have the freedom. I realize it's not really a thing. I think you will be, if you have a lot of money, you will be restricted in many ways more than people who have no money. So I don't think it's about it anymore, and I think it's about time. So as the only resource that's not renewable, which is time. I would wish for you to have a lot more time, and that second, that you spend it wisely. That's the only thing we don't control, really. So that's what I wish to everyone. And if it's and maybe in terms of not things, but experiences, kind of I probably would wish to people, and not generally just to you, but to people generally, uh, to have a courage for doing things that they dream about and pursuing them, because I think that's what sets the people we read about in newspaper and Elon Musk's of this world and other inspiring guys like that and girls, is that they simply go for it. And a lot of people have those same dreams and they just never go for it because they don't have the courage. And so I guess that would be my wish for people who don't necessarily see that in themselves yet, to really take that step into this uncomfortable space and have that courage. So my gift to you would be a courage, if I can give you that, but I don't think I can.
Last question.
I think, you continue doing what you do exactly. It's you are studying, you are learning all the time, which is something I don't see in everyone. You find time for work, for study, for voluntary projects. So you are really really ambitious. So this attitude is going to get you where you want to get. So just keep doing that. You are on the right track. And happy birthday again.
Thank you very much for this means so much.
Happy to spend time here, Raquel. What are you doing in the rest of the day?
Eating. I'm eating.
Yeah, I need to do the same thing. I'm gonna go get a breakfast and then go for a walk and then a little bit more work today. So yeah, it's a Sunday, but it's a little bit of work today.
Have some
Okay,
rest. Have some
cool.
rest. Bye.
Cool. Have a good day and happy birthday
Okay.
again. Enjoy the
Thank you.
day. Take care. Talk to you soon.
See you soon. Bye, guys.